As they say in Italian, setani. So the reason I brought everyone here to Astoria, Queens, is to have an honest discussion about hair loss. We deal with it every day. It's something all of us have been through, and we don't talk about it a lot. So why do we think hair loss affects people in such a way? It has such a really deep, sometimes devastating effect on our self-esteem.
Like for me, I felt like, you know, I was a baseball player, so always wearing a hat. But then you get to this point where you can't wear a hat anymore. And can I go to a wedding and wear a hat? What hat am I going to wear? Or it just doesn't really work out anymore. So then you start to, doesn't matter how confident, you know, somebody can be, it almost strips you from that,
Right.
you know, of that confidence that we all normally have. I remember looking in the mirror and just feeling like, this isn't who I really am,
Not
you
the
know?
man you used to be, right?
Kind of almost felt
So that's funny you
way.
say confidence, because that's something we hear all about when we talk of hair loss, is this loss of confidence. And what does that really mean? To me, that means you lost something about yourself. You lost something in your day-to-day routine. Something changes where you don't feel the confidence to maybe date or pick a certain job that you can't not wear your hat at, or you're not going to talk or go to social functions because of this loss of self-esteem, this loss of confidence. And that's what that means to me. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, it was like missing out on life, you know, and just events and different things that I would choose not to do.
My whole life growing up, like, I just felt like I was rich because I took care of myself.
Right.
And I was healthy. And, you know, people would look at me and always be like, oh my God, you look so much younger than you actually are, unless I didn't have a habit.
And then it's
You
like,
know?
oh, okay.
Because, like, I've been asked a few times, like, people are like, oh my God, you look so young, this and that. And then they'd be like, oh, take your hat off. And I'd take her hat off and they'd be like,
now it
you
makes
know?
sense.
Or like sometimes maybe a year or two over, and it's just always because it was that. You know?
So it's hard. It's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to want to go out to nightclubs. It's hard to want to hang out with friends when you're thinking the world is revolving around your head. When in reality, it's just your own self-confidence seeping through.
I always wore my hat in the gym.
Forget
But, you know,
about
from
it.
wearing my hat, I started breaking out all over my forehead. So it was just like,
it's
it
a
was
vicious
a
cycle.
lose-lose. It was just
Absolutely.
It's a vicious cycle.
I was around the same age. I started losing it in college too, and I was using the toppik a lot. And I remember I started putting the powder in, and then there's one night I just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to put the powder in. So I wore a hat, went out to one of the bars, and this cute girl came up to me, started talking, started flirting. And one of the ways she was flirting with me was trying to take my hat off, but I wasn't ready underneath. So I kind of got a little weird. I'm like, no, don't touch the hat. Don't stop, which is weird. You know, normally you let a cute girl take your hat, put it on her, dance around. But yeah, for me, I was like, no, don't touch it. And it got a little weird, and obviously that one didn't go too well. And I went home and was like, enough. And that's actually when I had my Britney Spears moment and shaved my head.
Shaved it all off?
I shaved it right off. Yeah. When you lose your hair, you realize really quick that the solutions that are out there aren't the final solution, and that a lot of this is out of our control. You can eat as healthy as you want. You could, you know, exercise. You can really take care of yourself, but this is something you really can't control, and that loss of power can, I think, really hit us as men.
Anyone here use toppik besides Matt and I?
Of course.
I tell you, you ever have this moment, you're sitting somewhere or you're involved in some event, you start to sweat and you see that black drip going down your
Run to the bathroom really fast.
and then you disappear to the bathroom.
So the funny thing about hair loss, or maybe it's not so funny, is we try to hide this shit. Whether it's a hat, whether it's a toppik, whether it's a comb over, keyword try. But at some point, you either come clean or someone's going to notice it. So who were or are some of the people you opened up to?
My barber. I was one of those inner city kids. Every Friday night, I'd go in for my shape up, a fade, an edge up, that kind of thing, to get me ready for the weekend. Until that fateful Friday when he said, you know what, man, you're looking a little light at the crown. And I was like, what do you mean? He showed me that big barber mirror. He hooped it over my head. He said, look at that. And I'm like, wow. And he said, and what's worse, when I do wet your hair all over, it does thin out substantially. So he was my first man. He was the first confidant that helped me out. That told me, you know what, I can cut this just right. I can layer it. I can help you out. Maybe we can extend your bangs. We can do a little something here to work with you. A Caesar haircut, layer it out. He was the first person I told, and the first person actually helped me out.
They're magicians, those barbers, sometimes. When you're losing your hair, they're magicians. Mike, you're a barber as well,
For
right?
being a barber, you know, I have a lot of guys who just, you know, just broken coming in, and they're like, is there anything you can do? So I'm like taking the hair, combing it over in different sections.
Right.
It's just like, sometimes you just can't do it anymore. It's just done.
Right. Friends, if they're not losing their hair, they don't usually get it.
Right.
I think it's something that we see. You know, it doesn't hit home until it's you.
Exactly.
And so it's hard to sometimes have a talk or a discussion with someone that's not going through the same thing that you're going through.
Right.
Am I right on that?
Absolutely, and most of the time it's like people live in the dark with this for a long time.
Right.
Because like, you know, like you don't even know if there is another person that's willing to talk about it that's in the same situation.
Right.
You know, like, I mean, for me, first person that I actually had like an open conversation and like, you know, like, hey, what did you do and how did this affect you, was Matt when I came in for treatment. You know, because like here you are now, you're indefinitely in a place where it's open, it's comfortable, it's obviously has to be addressed. So that was like one of the first places that it was like, all right, this is cool, let's just get it out and talk about it, and you know, and how we're gonna fix it.
I wish there wasn't such a stigma on it, you know, and that we,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm glad to have this discussion with you guys, because we can kind of have an honest talk, and hopefully this is relatable to those that are watching.
Absolutely.